The National Democratic Congress Director of Legal Affairs, Ibrahim Amaleba, has disclosed that the court will hear a motion for abridgment of the case brought against the party's presidential primaries on Friday instead of the initial May 15, which is Monday. The new date is crucial for the party because its planned presidential and parliamentary primaries are slated for Saturday, May 13, 2023. Speaking on Joy FM's top story on Wednesday, Mr. Amaleba said the party had applied for an abridgment of time, shortening the duration given after flag bearer hopeful Dr. Kwadwo filed a suit seeking to hold the presidential primaries from taking place on Saturday, May 13.
Yes, I can confirm to you that we filed the application for abridgment of time, and that has been fixed for Friday. We actually wanted it like tomorrow, but the registry indicated to us that that is difficult because of some issues relating to scanning of the processes that will have to take place. And then the judge who is going to preside must also have foreknowledge of the process. And so the available time is Friday.
Spokesperson for Dr. Dufour's camp, Kofi Kokobo, said they are willing to settle the issues if the party will actually deal with the issues that they are raising.
The delegates list have been made available to them. You see, they are quiet on the delegates list. It will check their rate. That is what it will be used to do the election. Now, the photo album is only the creation of the party to enhance the fairness, the process, to ensure that the process is fair. So the photo album, which they are calling the register, it's not the register. But in any case, I've just told you, that register is registered.
On whether the NDC will go ahead with the primaries, the Electoral Commission says the party is not mandated by law to have the EC supervise its polls, but it leaves the decision to go ahead with it in their hands. Earlier in the meeting with representatives of the party's presidential hopefuls, the Commission had said it will not supervise the May 13 event until all legal issues associated with it are resolved.
A very short meeting, a meeting of information from the Electoral Commission that they have been served with a writ, so they cannot conduct the election. That's the communication. So until the case is determined in court, they cannot conduct the elections.
So the EC has declared to you that because of the court's case, they will not be able to conduct the elections?
Yes, otherwise they will be cited for contempt of court.
So who were the parties involved in the meeting?
All the stakeholders. The elections committee, the national chairman, Asidun Ketia, John Mohammed's representative, Kwadwo Bonsu's representative, then Dr. Kwadwo Dufour's representatives.
Are you satisfied with the response from the Electoral Commission? Is this what you were looking for?
It's not about us being satisfied. What we are looking for is a credible voter register. So the communication from EC is just to tell us that because of the court case, they cannot conduct the elections.
So you are confirming to us that the election has hit a stack. You can't have it this weekend.
I'm saying that according to the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, because of the court case, until the case is determined, they cannot conduct the elections for NDC, the presidential primaries and the parliamentary primaries. They cannot conduct it.
Talk about the register. Did you talk about it at all? The EC just informed you?
Yes, just informed us. Because of the court issues, they will not be able to conduct the elections.
10 bodies have been retrieved, with one body still missing after 12 children drowned at the Fana Botiano Wednesday night. The children were returning from school in a boat when the tragedy struck. Though it is unclear what led to the incident, community members have constituted a search party to find the missing child. The only survivor is responding to treatment. JoyNews' Carlos Caloni joins us live with more. Caloni, what can you report from the Fana community?
All right, Aisha, what I can say here is that members of the community are currently in a crunch meeting. As you can see behind me, they are actually considering a lot of options they want to put on the table before the authorities. One was mentioned as they would be pushing for compensation heavily because they believe that this accident could have been prevented. And so that is one of the things they are considering heavily. I'm also told that the MC is on his way to the community as we speak, and so we'll be speaking with him to gauge his understanding of the situation and what the assembly would be doing to ensure that such an incident doesn't happen here in the community. But they're also expressing concerns also over the canal, which actually claimed the lives of these young souls. And so I have been joined by the assemblyman for this area. He's going to share his thought on, with us on that particular canal and why he thinks that that should not have been the situation. So tell us, give us your name.
My name is Dambright Abayate.
All right, so tell us about the canal you were talking to us a while about.
The bane for everybody here is the canal over there because it's artificially made. You know, we have a natural place where the river do enter, you know, the sea. But along the line, somewhere 6 to 7 years ago, when the rains came in and then some people upstream were finding some difficulties, then I remember the MP over there and the MC, the current MC and the MP, current MP, they came to Botiano with guns on us that we want to, you know, want to have that paved into the sea. But our people then were like, okay, they have some few rituals to do, and they could not have understanding. So quickly they rushed to this side and then dug it over there. And since then, we've been having problems. What they have to do is to close it. When they close it, then the river will return to its natural, you know, if you like, I don't know, standing, so that as and when it overflows its banks, we can have it, you know, gone into the sea at the other side. That's what I can say for now. If they don't do that, we'll continue to have problems. Look, because this is done, day in, day out, people are buying land in the river. And the same wager, assembly, are giving them permit to be building over there. And that's how come they don't want this one to close, so that they can have more people put up houses over there. We believe when they block it, these incidents will stop. Because there are times that you will not have a canal flowing in there or the other side, and then people can even walk across, you understand? But since 7 years now, this is what we are having at hand. And it is killing our children, it is killing us.
All right, so share with us also, the elders we've been speaking with here, they have been telling us they'll be pushing for some compensation because they believe that their kids could have been alive if not for that canal. You are the assembly member for the area. Are you going to help them push for this compensation?
Why not? Why not? I believe that one of those children gone today can stand and do something, you know, about that thing over there. Should they become somebody prominent in society tomorrow? And we don't know what they are coming to be like. And so I believe that should they be alive tomorrow, they can do something. So if they are pushing for compensation, why not? You understand? Because it is government's responsibility to have school too over here. And government FQ, everybody should be in school. So why should you go to school and then and die? You understand?
All right. So in the interim, what is the arrangement for the victims and the bereaved family?
You know, I wish you are talking to NADMO because you are talking about arrangement.
No, but you are the assembly.
Here together with me, then we'll know what to do. Now that they are not here, I may be taking unilateral decisions. I believe that South NADMO will come, and then I will want them to collaborate with that of wager, because they created a problem, so that we can find solution to that. But before then, the traumatized, families will be attended to. And then when things ease down, we'll know the way forward.
What will be the ultimate solution? Is it the closure of the canal or a provision of a school facility here?
Found. You can see the girl is found now that they are going.
Okay, so there's a development now. You can see the young men in your shot. The update is that a body, the missing body, has been found, and so you can see the state of the community now in your shot as young men are all running to the scene to catch a glimpse of the body. That is the situation here at Fana in the Gan South municipality. The missing body has been found now, and so members of the community. All right, so that is what we are learning, that the missing body has been found, and so people or residents here are all rushing to catch a glimpse of the body. So that is the situation, and we are trying to get closer to the scene to understand exactly what is happening. That is the situation now. So the mood here in the Fana community, I can tell you, is a solemn one. You'll find all kinds of people like there wailing. All of them are wailing. You can see them in your shot. Every home you enter here has been affected. You find 1 or 2 or 3 people gathered and are crying and wailing over this very pathetic and tragic situation that happened here in Fana, in the Gans South municipality of the Greater Accra region. It's actually predominantly a fishing community, and so what they do is fishing. You can see their net in your shot, and then as you can see beyond the net, the canoes are all rushing to the scene to actually bring back the body. So we'll try and give you that shot way back on the lake. You can see a number of canoes with a number of young men trying to get to where the body has been found so we can give you some update. But in your shot, you can see the entire community, gathered at the where they come to fetch water, and they are trying to wait as the men go to bring the missing body. So the update is that the missing body has been found. 12 people were on board a canoe, school kids returning from school who drowned, and 8 bodies have been found, but 1 has been missing since yesterday. But the latest update is that that last body has been found now, and a while ago you saw in your shot the youth of the town trying to get to where the incident or the body has been found. But you can see members of this community gathered here expectantly waiting to catch a glimpse of the body. As they do that, everyone is in a solemn mood, and a packet of people are actually discussing this matter. So we are coming to you live from Fana, which is a community in the Gan South municipality, where 8 bodies have been found. The 9th body has now also been found, and they are going to bring that body from the river. And so that is the update. We are told that the MC of the area is on his way into the community to engage with community leaders to understand what next line of action the assembly is going to take and the community will take. Already the community is asking for compensation. They want to be heavily compensated, and they are basing this compensation on the fact that the kid died in an artificial canal created by another municipal assembly. And so had it not been for that canal, their kids would have been alive by now. So they are basing their compensation claims on that. And so elders are currently in a crunch meeting trying to decide on the way forward on that particular matter. So we still have members of the community gathering here. They are coming in their numbers. They are waiting to see their beloved child who drowned yesterday. which has been found, and rescue where residents are actually going there to ensure that they are able to bring back the body. So we'll try and speak with some residents to understand how they are actually feeling. Please give us your name.
Abigail.
Okay, so I see you are not in a happy mood. Why?
Oh. Miniha.
Okay. Okay, so she is not from this Fana community. We'll try to engage another lady. Yeah, so share with us. Do you know the body that has been found so far? Do you know, what do you remember about her?
Please, I don't know that.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, but of course, most of them are here gathered and are expecting to see the body brought in here. So that is the update from Fana community here in the Ga South municipality of the Greater Accra region. They are predominantly fishers, and they have a boat and canoes they use for their fishing activities. And so they really don't have huge asset in terms of buildings. In fact, if you look at their structures, you see the kind of structures they have here made from thatch. And so I can hardly find a block building here. Everything I see here appears to be a thatch kind of structure. So it's a very humble community here who are trying to make ends meet. But unfortunately, this incident has happened. And many of the residents I have been speaking with, you can see in your shot there, are lamenting the fact that they don't have a school in the community for their kids to attend. And they had to go through all of this to get their kids into this situation. So that is the update from Fana community. We are still here. We are waiting for the body to be brought in here so we can give you full update of the situation. And so we are here live expecting the MC to also arrive as we also wait for the body that has been found to be brought here for the necessary action to be taken by the leaders of the community and then the district assembly and the police, and then we'll update you on the way forward on this matter. So
you have the Carlos
in the Ga South municipality of.
He's a reporter monitoring events at the Fana community in Botiano Forest, and as you heard him say, the last person has been found, the body has been retrieved, and already 8 people, dead bodies have been retrieved. The last one retrieved this morning, and we'll definitely stay in that community and bring you every thing you need to know about this incident. Let's get on to other stories. The Ghana Grid Company Limited, GridCo, says that power outages that have been experienced in some parts of Accra in the past few days are due to shortfalls in gas supply from Kwadwo in Nigeria. Areas including La Paz, Abeka, McCarthy Hill, Malam Junction, parts of Tema and Sakumono have all experienced power outages this week. Many residents have wondered whether there is an ongoing load shedding exercise or not. Speaking on JoyNews Prime Communications Director of GridCo, Jeffa Bampo, disclosed there's a fuel challenge they are dealing with.
Apology for the regrettable experience of a power outage, and I think some people had that yesterday, and a few people had that 2 days ago, so Monday as well. We sincerely apologize for that. The matter has come up because of a shortage in gas supply. That is at least over the last couple of days. So typically we get some 100 million standard cubic feet of gas from Ghana Gas through ENI Talo. And then we get something like 70 million standard cubic feet of gas and above from Nigeria. But the truth is that it varies from time to time, especially on the Nigerian side. So for today, for instance, we've received only 56 million standard cubic feet of gas. So what that means is that there's a shortfall in the fuel that you need to power our plants.
No, the Electricity Company of Ghana says it has taken note of the recent incessant power outages and has put in place measures to address the challenge. According to Managing Director Samuel Dubik Mahama, the situation is as a result of some challenges with the Nigerian gas, which has affected the gas flow to Ghana. Mr. Mahama, who was speaking on the Super Morning Show, assured that the situation will be mitigated.
Has had some challenges the past few days, and to be honest, it's all coming to an end. As I'm speaking to you, I know they are doing their best to restore, or it has been restored, the Trasaco bulk supply point, because I know from 1 a.m. the Trasaco bulk supply point was off. The day before that, yesterday we didn't have to shed any load because all systems were firing and we had enough. The gas pressure was enough. The day before that, we picked gas from Nigeria Gas, and they've been having some challenges, so it affected the gas flow to the power plants in Ghana. We had some massive low pressure, so we had to take steps to shed some load immediately because we didn't have access to some liquid fuels. But that is what led to 2 days ago and the outages that happened during the peak time.
Is this something that could happen again?
Honestly, I don't believe so. I don't believe so because I think at this point in time, since it doesn't belong to us, we cannot speak on their part. So what we have to do as a service provider is to come together and make sure that we have alternative fuels in place to the gas, so that we can move forward properly. And that's what we have done with trying to get some HFO for some of the power plants, and then making sure that there's a standby for diesel and all of that for those power plants that can work ambidextrously. I believe strongly you are assured of uninterrupted power generation supply. And if there's anything on the generator side, we would inform you adequately. On the distributor side, which is ECG, because I cannot really speak on behalf of the generators. I can only speak on behalf of the distributor, which is ECG. On our side, we are doing our best to increase the intensification projects that we are going on, the injections in the transformer so that the loads can be mitigated. So, yes, on our side, we'll be doing our best to target these issues as quickly as possible. We're actually in the process of coming up with some WhatsApp lines for you to drop us location pins and details whenever there's an outage in your area so we can come quickly. We are trying to get a way to move to you straight based on faults on a regional basis so that the districts can tackle them. We're actually coming up with a proper formula of that, and we will share it with the general public soon.
Mr. Mahama also indicated that the ECG has begun a cashless payment of bills from today.
We have officially gone cashless today. In all our district offices, we are not taking cash anymore. Right. So load up on your mobile money account before you come to the ECG office for any transaction. And also note that services do not attract e-levy, so please, let's calm down. It's not ECG trying to push traffic onto all of that. You can also use your bank card. You can also come and then we'll get you a paying slip for you to get into the nearest bank to pay. Right. But as for cash, we are not taking that anymore in any of the ECG offices. We actually sent some text messages out last night, and we are building on the other stuff, and very soon to those who buy with cards, right, you may have to come to our office and upgrade your card so you could purchase power on the app. So that's also going to be happening in a few weeks' time.
Let's talk about the NDC. The National Democratic Congress flag bearer, hopeful and former President John Dramani Mahama has ended his campaign tour of the Upper West region, taking a swipe at the NPP, stating that the party is at its wit's end and cannot perform any miracle to change the fortunes of the people. He advised all those who still have the belief that their lives could be improved in the dying embers of their reign not to tickle themselves. JoyNews' Upper West regional correspondent Rafiq Salam followed the former president's campaign and has come up with this report.
Flag bearer hopeful of the National Democratic Congress NDC, John Dramani Mahama final day campaign tour of the Upper West region took him to 5 constituencies, all held by the NDC, starting at the Jiriba constituency.
And when we come back into office, I have said that will make sure that any opportunities that are available to Ghanaians, you also get your fair share. Because you are the owners of our party. You also get your fair share.
3 persons have filed their names to contest the Jiriba parliamentary primary, including Jennifer Namfuri, daughter of the former Inspector General of the Ghana Police Service and incumbent Petu Sedidapla, who is seeking a third term.
This is your constituency. We are going to vote you 100%. I will also assure you that this constituency is one of the constituencies that is very united. The constituency executive committee are together. The branches are united. The stakeholders are together. And I want to assure you, after the primaries, we will come together and increase the vote margin for yourself and myself.
The next stop of former President John Dramani Mahama was at Nadoli, capital of the Nadolo-Keleo constituency, which was a Waterloo for him in the last presidential primary.
And I know that this is Honorable Bagben's hometown. And so when I came, I campaigned, and I knew I was going to win the overall. But for us Northerners, we respect our elder brothers, we respect seniority. And so I had to be careful here. If I defeated my elder brother in his own hometown, it will become a big problem. And so I put the foot on the accelerator gently. I didn't push it too hard. And truly, you guys honored our brother. He won and I came second. And we've been working together. Today we're all proud of him, that he's the right honorable Speaker of Ghana's Parliament, the first Northerner in the history of Ghana to become a Speaker of Parliament.
Anthony Sumamankara, who took over from Speaker Alban Gbabin, is being contested by a senior lecturer at the Simon Diedon Dombo University of Business and Integrated Development Studies, Dr. Tedios Banye.
There are no options. Yes. You are the only person in the race, and we are going to give you overwhelming endorsement. I can assure you I've been everywhere in the constituency, every branch, and the determination and resolution to vote for you 100% is great and clear.
The former president then headed east and to Issa, constituency capital of the famous Bure Issa. He interacted with the delegates and the 2 aspirants vying for the right to represent the party in the next general election. Their incumbent Dr. Sebastian Sandare, who is aiming for a parliamentary hat-trick, and Abu Kabiembata Kansangabata, better known as Abu Keke, pitching his strength against him for the second time. At Bulengi, in the West constituency, the former president interacting with the delegates, chiefs, opinion leaders of the area, admonished the people against politicians who come to them with flowery language in the name of getting power. Citing the MPP as an example, he stated that the party is at its worst end and can perform any miracle to change the situation.
6.5 years. It's 1.5 years more. There's no miracle going to happen. What they've done is what they've done. They're not going to add anything to it. So anybody who is sitting and thinking there'll be a miracle in this last 1.5 years is just tickling himself and dreaming. Nothing else is going to add. What you've got is what you've got. There's going to be nothing. And as far as I know, there's nothing here in Wa East that NPP came in the last 6.5 years and have done. What they've rather done is the good things we're doing, they have stopped them. I remember we're building a girls' secondary school here. And as soon as we left office, where we left it is where it is. And so I wish to promise you that NDC is coming for sure. And when we come, that girls' secondary school, we'll finish it and we'll make sure that the girls of this area can get a good education.
The West constituency seat is considered a swing seat, but is currently being held by NDC's Dr. Godfrey Sedi Jassau. He's being contested by a former West constituency secretary, Dr. Munor Isaac, and former Upper Sudan treasurer of the NDC, Prince Razak Tachi.
We in Wa East are beginning to rewrite our books to ensure that
why it remains the seat for NDC from now. Because of that, during the constituency elections, we literally maintained our existing executives. In the same vein, we are going to maintain our presidential candidate and parliamentary candidate as well.
The NDC flag bearer hopeful wrap up the campaign at Tolu in the West constituency before rolling out of the region to the Savannah region, where he is expected to cast his vote during the presidential and parliamentary primaries on Saturday. Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam, Jiruba.
Still on the NDC, the West Central NDC parliamentary primary is expected to be keenly contested as two lawyers, an international relations expert and a pharmacist have filed for Saturday's contest. Incumbent West Central MP Dr. Rashid Purple is in a battle of his life as he begins his bid for a sit term in Parliament against old foe and former Food and Drugs Authority Chief Executive Officer Alhaji Hudu Mokhtari. Rafik Salam has been monitoring two lawyers, Abubakar Mutiu Rahman and Wahid Bampuri Idris, who are bent on springing a surprise in the primary.
Dr. Rashid Hassan Pilipo has constantly for over a decade continuously divided opinions in the West Central constituency for deliberately being shifting the goalpost as to when he will call it quits in Parliament.
But for me, I think I can also say hopefully it could be the last, but hopefully it could be a continuation. But let me tell you, this is not a small job at all, and I will do the bidding of the people, but I also try to understand when it is time to exit. But I'm not disclosing anything here. Let's wait until we get to the Rubicon, and then we can cross it.
This interview was conducted immediately he was declared the victor in the 2020 parliamentary polls in the West Central constituency. Dr. Rashid Pilipo arguably is loved and despised in equal measure, but has consecutively won every parliamentary primary of the National Democratic Congress (NDC) in the West Central constituency since 2004. His percentage or margin of victory over the years, however, has been on the decline, according to a group calling themselves Crusaders for Positive Change in the West Central constituency.
When MSAU left the seat, the margin between NDC and MPP was over 18,000 votes. Currently, the difference in votes is merely a little over 5,000. Furthermore, the MP employs use and dump tactics before and after elections.
That claim, however, has been disputed by Progressive Youth Alliance, a group affiliated to the international relations aspect.
Honorable MSAU had his best performance in 2000, which is 53%, and His Excellency Dr. Rashid Hassan Pilipo best performance in 2008, which is 58%. So by these figures, the best performance ever in West Central is 58%.
Dr. Rashid Pilipo, for a safe time, is running in the NDC West Central parliamentary primary and has tied his performance to that of the NDC.
NDC represents development in this constituency. All the many schools we have built were built by NDC. The secondary schools, the university, the hospitals, the clinics, the water systems, everything you can see in West Central here, is being germinated and propagated by NDC. So we are a symbol of development for our people. And I have been a fundamental leader in getting all these things done.
Breathing on his neck and on top of him on the ballot paper is old foe and former chief executive officer of the Food and Drugs Authority. The duo first engaged each other in their first parliamentary primary in 2004, won by Dr. Rashid Pilipo. Alhaji Hudu Mokhtari says there is a wind of change blowing in the constituency, promising the people what he called servant leadership.
It is obvious that change is coming. it is obvious that the constituents want change. And so let us not lose this opportunity. Let us make sure that we get the change to build the One Central that we want. People want a One Central that will grow far bigger than it is now. Because One Central constituency, it is the heart of the Upper West region. It is the heart of the constituencies in the Upper West region. And so the win for One Central constituency is the win for Upper West region. And so I urge all delegates to make sure that on 13th of May, when they enter the ballot box, they should look at position number 1, that is Hudu Mokhtari, give it a very big thumb, and that will bring us the victory and the change that we want.
Line on number 3 on the ballot paper and describing himself as the longest serving foot soldier of the party in the constituency is lawyer Wahid Bambo.
Everybody knows that I have a lot of experience. I have a lot of passion for my constituency, and I know how to change things, move it from where we have been in the last 30 years to what it should be in the next how many years, we don't know.
Former War Central Constituency Secretary and Upper West Regional Youth Organizer of the NDC, lawyer Abubakar Botiu Rahman, is number 4 on the ballot paper. He averred that the party is looking for a parliamentary candidate who reflects their aspirations, which is well fitted into.
Probabilities of winning this election is great because the people are now yearning for a candidate that will reflect their aspirations. And given what they are looking for, given my experience in NDC politics, I am convinced that in the end I will emerge victorious.
The MPP has made several attempts to annex a seat from them, but has always failed. The West Central NDC, however, is at the crossroad, and whoever wins this parliamentary primary of the party will have a huge task of uniting the obvious cracks and differences in the party. Reporting for JoyNews, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
And on Thursday, hypertension has been tagged as the greatest risk factor for stroke. More than 90% of stroke victims have high blood pressure. Fortunately, scientists in Ghana and Nigeria are using mobile phones to improve hypertension and other stroke risk. The intervention led to an 11-point reduction in systolic blood pressure of the study group. JoyNews' medical correspondent, Dr. Netta Pasram, speaks with the lead scientist, Professor Fred Stephen Safo, of the KNUST for Thursday.
Stroke clinically, it refers to a problem in the brain whereby blood is not able to get to one part of the brain, or the blood vessel carrying blood to the brain ruptures and therefore you bleed into the brain.
Well, yes, that is stroke. What then are the risk factors for stroke?
Number 1 on the list is hypertension. If you take 100 stroke patients, 90 to 95% of them would have hypertension. That shows that hypertension is the dominant risk factor for stroke in Ghana and elsewhere across Africa, actually. Number 2 will be dyslipidemia, abnormal lipid or abnormal fat in the blood. So that constitutes about 70%. So if you take 100 stroke patients, 70 of them will have abnormal cholesterol or abnormal triglycerides in their blood. And that's followed next by diabetes. Up to about 30% of our stroke patients have diabetes. But importantly, up to another 30% have pre-diabetes. In other words, they don't have the diabetes, but they're on their way to developing diabetes. So if you aggregate the two together, you have about 60% with dysglycemias or abnormal blood glucose levels, predisposing them to stroke. Then we have lifestyle factors. If you consume less vegetables, you're at higher risk of stroke. If you consume more meat or regular consumption of meat, you're at higher risk of stroke. If you don't exercise, physical inactivity predisposes you to stroke.
The study involved 100 stroke-free patients with at least 2 risk factors for stroke. 50 of these patients were exposed to just one-time counseling. However, the other 50 were given a stroke video, which educated them on their risk factors for 2 months.
So one of the avenues for preventing stroke really is to harness the potential of phones, mobile phones, to be able to provide education and also to assess your risk. So recently we've been able to design a risk score that is tailored for Africans. So you put in your risk score on an app and it gives you the percentage of probability of developing a stroke. And based on the score, we are then able to now give you advice, either via remotely by a nurse, that look, you have hypertension, you have bad eating habits, so please watch a video that will give you this education on it. So after watching the video, the individual is then motivated to put in lifestyle measures and seek medical help to address risk factors like hypertension or high cholesterol.
After the study, it was noticed that those who were exposed to the video for 2 months had a significant reduction in their blood pressure and heightened awareness of stroke risk factors.
So when we tested this in a pilot trial in Nigeria and Ghana, what we found was that those who were able to assess their risk with their mobile phone and then watch the stroke cartoon, which is a video, a movie, very interesting movie of about 10 minutes. They were able to show significant reduction in their stroke risk score in just 2 months, compared to the control group that did not have access to the stroke video or assess their stroke risk. So these are interesting pilot findings that suggest that, well, we could just simply use or tap into mobile technology, the simple mobile phone, to be able to prevent stroke in the context of Africa.
Here is another brilliant approach to reducing stroke risk. So remember to regularly check your blood pressure, blood glucose and lipid levels. And if for any reason you are put on medication, please be sure to take it. For Joy News, Dr. Netta Pasra.
We're still live on Joy News Desk, coming to you from our studios here in Kokomlemle, Fanofa Street. We'll take a break. When we return, there's business.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Business. My name is Darrell Kwao. As Ghana embarks on its energy transition agenda, some experts have warned of possible job cuts if government does not properly implement the project. According to Deputy Director of Nuclear and Alternative Energy at the Ministry of Energy, Dr. Robert Sugbaji, Ghana must train more young people within the oil and gas sector to explore various opportunities within the space. He spoke to Joy Business at the launch of the 2023 Think Energy SDGs Awards.
Ghana intends to conditionally reduce its greenhouse gas emissions by at least 45% by 2030. The country's nationally determined contributions under the Paris Agreement outline 2 main goals relating to the energy transition: scaling up renewable energy penetration by 10% by 2030 and scaling up 120 million standard cubic feet natural gas replacement of light crude oil for electricity generation in thermal plants. Meanwhile, Dr. Sobaji is calling for stringent policies to support the sector.
Yes, some of the energy transition also have its other effects. If we don't take care, will also affect us. And so our energy transition plan is to minimize those effects and to maximize the benefits. So some of the effects is, for example, stranded assets. So we'll have issues with our oil and gas if you don't transition well. We also have the issue with if you don't, let's say, the human resource that we have. If you make sure that we've trained people in the oil and gas sector. So when we transition and we don't transition well, what's happening to the human resource? Secondly, there are vehicles which are also using, we call it the ICE, the internal combustion vehicles. They may also become stranded assets. And if you don't also take care, people will use here as a dumping ground for their old vehicles because Europe is transitioning.
On her part, President and founder for the African Energy Technology Center, Emilia Akuma, said industry players within the energy ecosystem should push for policies that will drive development in the sector.
I think it's also important that Africans spearhead a conversation that pertain to us. For too long, we've had Africans migrating or moving all the way to Europe for all these conferences. We as Africans should be able to champion technologies that are sustainable and also economically friendly to us as a continent.
The Think Energy SDGs Awards as part of the African Energy and Sustainable Summit 2023 is a global prestigious award which is designed to celebrate and honor corporate and academic institutions working together to achieve global leadership on SDG 4, 7, 13, 14, and 17. Meanwhile, the Africa Energy Technology Conference is Africa's premier energy technology-driven exhibition and networking conference that seeks to create a distinctive platform for key stakeholders and industry players.
In other news, Executive Director of the World Trade Center, Accra, Edem Yewuche, has indicated that Ghana remains a good destination for trade and investment despite the current economic challenges. According to him, many investors who were present at the 53rd General Assembly of the World Trade Association have expressed interest in investing in several sectors of Ghana's economy. There's more.
Ghana's economy has been in the global, media space for not the best reasons in recent times. However, what is true is that in the short to medium term, optimism is very high with respect to what Ghana's prospects are. Again, when we engaged with the participants in the General Assembly, we found that most people are quite clear that the challenges we face are just immediate, and that in the near future the prospects look good for the country. But this General Assembly was positioned not only as a Ghana General Assembly. From the beginning, we determined to position it as an African General Assembly. And so if you came to the General Assembly, you would see the strong participation of countries like Namibia, Kenya, Tanzania, Egypt, South Africa, Nigeria, and so on. And so generally, Africa is a good draw for global trade and investment at the moment, especially because of the Africa Trade and Africa Free Trade Area Agreement, Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. What that agreement is doing essentially is creating the single largest custom-free trading area in the world. The prospects are very good for Africa because it is amalgamating the African market into one. Most global actors are very keen on this, and in fact, this was a big draw for several of the investors coming. And Ghana has a very good image as an oasis of peace and stability, where the rule of law is operational. We've done several good things, like the digitalization of our economy, things like the single switch, the single window port clearing system, and so on and so forth, have put us in good stead to attract investment. So when you put all of these together, and Ghana being the host of the AFTA Secretariat, and so the de facto capital of the new Africa integrated market, all of these things gave a good impetus for foreign investors seeking to come into the country. And a few days after the General Assembly, we are still very, very busy responding to enquiries for trade and investment opportunities in Africa. Several people came to Ghana and discovered other African countries like Namibia, for instance. And we're talking about very significant projects coming not only to Ghana, but going to some of our neighboring African countries.
All right, that's it for business. I shall be back to wrap up in a bit.
And as I draw the curtains on a news desk this morning, log on to myjoyonline.com. There's more of the news there, an update of all the developing stories. See you again at 12.